Namaskar, I'm Ashok Vyas and I'm delighted to be welcoming Padma Shri Dr. Sudhir Parikh. The weather is changing and they say spring is arriving. There are some people with whom you feel they are in the spring all the time, and what is that secret? We'll begin with that. So Dr. Parikh, people are saying that you are looking younger and younger. What is the secret?
Thank you. My secret is just be happy, be merry, and be stress free, and that's it. That's the only secret.
So the reason I asked you this question was recently United Nations celebrated International Day of Happiness. So let me see your idea on what keeps a person in a position to sustain happiness, because many people are happy then they go down. So
Well, I think if you have positive attitude and if you look every event positively and try to extract what is good in that event, you always feel good and you always be happy. And it's very easy to be happy in present tense. Don't worry about what happened yesterday because it's gone, and don't worry about future tomorrow because you don't know what's going to happen. So might as well enjoy today. And today's and if you are positive and if you look at everything positively and without looking negative about others, then I think you will be happy and everyone else will be happy.
and I think India also empowers us with that insight, and I connect with your reflection on your own experience of being at Rashtrapati Bhavan to receive your Padma Shri, and recently one video is going viral where 103-year-old Swamiji is bowing, and then Prime Minister Narendra Modi also is expressing his respect by bowing. So talk to me about the importance of respecting another human being, irrespective of whatever be their position, etc. That also is related to happiness.
Of course, I always believe that you always respect others as you expect respect from others. And doesn't matter how successful you are, what height what position you are in, but always don't forget your past friends, those who are little left behind because of whatever circumstances. You just go to them and say hello to them and give the respect to them. Even a person who help you at home, like in household work or any other work, always call them with the respect. Never call them without respect. Always say so and so boy or so and so man, and always kind of address them with the aap or tame. That way always they feel good, because at the end of the day all human beings are equal and they all have equal ego, they all have equal expectation, and once you respect others, then they will always respect you, and you will be happy and they will be happy.
Now, if you are happy, then you are in a better position to face some adverse or challenging circumstances. And now we move towards the collective harsh reality that our world is facing right now. Let us begin by looking at the way Russia-Ukraine war is unfolding. Unfortunately, it has gone beyond 25 days. And recently at White House, President Biden questioned the role of India, and he used the word India has been shaky in speaking against Russia. So how do you see in the geopolitical scenario India's interest as well as this?
Well, I think India's interest is very much interwoven with Russia, because all the defense equipments, fighter jets, everything is from 80% is from Russia, and therefore we are really depending upon Russia for those service of those aircraft, service of the defense equipments. So for India, it's very difficult to criticize Russia, and India historically is very neutral country. You know that even previous Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru started something called non-aligned group, where the India, Yugoslavia, Egypt was a part of that group, and they always, because that time there was a Cold War, and they always try to mediate between Western communist countries and Western democracy. So I think India's position is well understood. I think it's the right position for India, and therefore any comment by President that India is shaky, I think it's a kind of on the surface it looks very valid comment, but I think India should stick to the what is in her interest than what is the interest of the other people.
So what you said, again, if you look at it from India's point of view, India is firm. From the point of view of Western countries and America, India is shaky. So looking at India's foreign policy and strength that under Prime Minister Modi, India have. So recently we had visitor from Israel, then Australian Prime Minister, then Japanese. So there is some say in the world affairs of India which probably was not seen prior to recent times.
Yeah, I mean, right now our leadership is very strong and dynamic. Prime Minister Modi is very strong, very dynamic, very kind of international personality, and therefore India is economically also very strong. So when you are economically strong, always automatically you become kind of one of the leader, and that's why India has everything going for it. And so you are right that current Prime Minister leadership is really very impressive. We should all appreciate that, and we should always congratulate him.
So talking about congratulating Prime Minister Modi, moving our focus towards a movie which has kind of created a movement regarding awareness about genocide of Kashmiri Pandits, and mainly 89-90 is the period when this thing has happened. You have also seen the film. There are scenes which you would never like to see, but those people who experience all that, what is your guess, or rather your analysis, how this movie is impacting people in different ways, and there are some voice of criticism also, and indeed many people are moved and they are crying, as well as they say that for the first time they feel that they have a voice.
Well, I mean, this movie has kind of exposed our past history. The history is very tragic because it's very kind of based on the religion, kind of Hindu-Muslim thing, and that is very unfortunate. And a lot of Hindu Pandits in Kashmir, Kashmiri Pandits suffer. They were outrooted from their from homes, and they were thrown out from their villages and so forth. Their all the assets were kind of taken away, and they become refugee to the India, and they all migrated towards Delhi and northern part of the India. And I think, but it's very important that this kind of story has to be told, and we are fortunate that Vivek Agnihotri and Payal Joshi both were here in our studio, and they said very nicely that why they did this thing, because they always wanted to show the history, because history is very important in any culture. If you whether history is good or bad, we must remember that history, because by remembering the history, one do not make any mistake in the future, again a similar mistake in the future. So it's very important to remember the history, whether it's bad or ugly, doesn't matter, but history has to be preserved and remembered.
So one major criticism that is coming is that it is spreading hate, and I connect with you the news that came from Pakistan today itself, that they were forcibly seeking to marry a Hindu girl, and then she was abducted and then she was killed. So this is not the first time it has happened. But if you say it, then some people say that you are spreading hatred against Muslims. That is not the case. This way you will never be able to empathize with the victim. So, but this is kind of creating a sense of polarization. Even if you look at some statements that came from many political leaders or journalists, and even the Abdullah, the former chief minister, also is very critical that this is one-sided story. You want to say something about this?
Well, I mean, Omar Abdullah did say that the story is a half truth, and we don't know. I mean, but according to the director of the movie and according to the narration by actor and actress Payal Joshi, Pallavi Joshi, this is a really true story.
Yeah.
And you know, in the world, everything is some people. I mean, in the world, always there are people who wants to forgive and forget and the bad thing, and that's why they are saying that okay, now whatever happened. Why to remember again and start again instigate the whole again that Hindu-Muslim thing. But again, as I believe strongly personally that history, doesn't matter how bad or ugly it is, one must remember, one must preserve the history. If you forget the history, then your culture or your country cannot progress in the future.
So, on the one hand, Imran Khan, Prime Minister of Pakistan, has praised Prime Minister Modi or foreign policy of India. And in 2020, in United Nations, Pakistan proposed a resolution to be passed for Islamophobia. Then it didn't get enough support. But this year, on 15th March, United Nations has passed a resolution declaring that day as International Day of Islamophobia. And so India's stand was that you should not exclude other religions, because every religion is facing it, and as we are talking, indeed, Hindus are facing, Christians are facing in some part. So it looks like United Nations operate in a way where you have certain groups that kind of play with their clout, and things move.
Well, I think that's called politics, right? I mean, that's called political rhetoric, and it's an unfortunate thing. But you know, not only United Nations, but even U.S. Congress has passed this Islamophobia resolution.
Yes.
So I mean, that is the worst thing, because United Nations has no teeth or no kind of legal implication. But if U.S. Congress passed that kind of resolution, it means they are kind of sided on one way against the other religion. So that's not good sign, because that can affect the future aid to the India or India-like countries.
Absolutely. So there are many areas that requires collective conscious attention, and in order to move towards a fair world, we need to work together. Doctor, we would seek your final words from today's show, and once again we bring back the reference of happiness, and the spring is here. While we mingle, should we be cautious, keeping in mind that we just have left COVID behind?
Well, dear friends, spring is here. We all should be very happy, and the harvest time is here back home in India. Vaisakhi is here, Holi is here. So looks like it's the beginning of the happiness and cheerfulness and so forth in our social life. But also we should all pray and wish that the war between Ukraine and Russia should end sooner than later, because its implication will be long lasting on every country, on economically and socially. So that's what our prayer should be. And last, the pandemic is over, but endemic is there. And right now, one should be kind of more free to move around and meet and greet the people, but still be careful when you are indoor. And if necessary, probably in the fall, government may ask us to take the fourth booster or second booster, fourth injection of the vaccine to protect ourselves in fall and next winter. So thank you for joining us this week. God bless America. God bless India. God bless Indian American community. And goodbye. See you soon next week. Thank you.